What's going on, guys? Welcome back into another episode of Making the Difference. It's episode 3. My name's Ryan. I'm the host here, owner of The Difference. You can find me at my socials at The Difference on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the great spots. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, head over to the YouTube. You're going to find a lot of great content there. I do want to just first off say thank you to all the support I've been getting for this podcast. It's actually a lot more than what I assumed or had gathered. Anybody that's listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, head over to the YouTube. A lot of great content there. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That being said, share the show. I really appreciate all the support, but if you're finding any value in this, like today's show, I think I'll provide a lot of value, so stay tuned. If you're finding any value, if you think it's funny, if you think there was something worth hearing, share it to your stories, share it to your friends, share it to your neighbors, share it anywhere that you can. I think that word of mouth is the best way to get this podcast started, to get this idea going. And again, I really appreciate all the support that I've already had. So even if you think that you have a small platform, share the show. Today's show is going to be about 75 Hard. If you're not familiar with 75 Hard, it's created by this guy named Andy Frisella. He is a businessman. He owns a couple different businesses, a lot of different businesses. One of his main ones is First Form. If you're not familiar with that, that is like an athletic company. They sell proteins and optimization for like greens and, you know, all the good stuff, a little bit more gear. It's actually something I'm looking at possibly getting affiliated with. So stay tuned for that as well. But back to 75 Hard. 75 Hard is a program. It's not a diet program. It's not a physical program. It is a mental fortitude program. It is tough. It's very tough. Basically, let's outline what we have 75 Hard is. Yeah, Andy Frisella created it. It starts off by listing that you must do 2 workouts in a day. The first workout can be inside or outside, but one of the 2 have to be outside. 2 workouts, 2 45-minute workouts. One of them must be outside. You have to follow a diet. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to follow a keto diet or you have to follow a no carb diet, whatever that is. That's keto. Keto, or you don't have to count your macros. You don't have to do any of that. Follow your diet. Set out a plan and stick to that plan. That is basically what this whole thing is. So you're following a diet. You're not going to have any alcohol, and you're not going to have any cheat meals this whole time. You're going to drink 1 gallon of water every day. You're going to read 10 pages of a book. Now, it's not going to be fucking Harry Potter. It's not going to be, Junie B. Jones. We're going to be reading character development, nonfiction, things that are going to help you better yourself. Now, I'll talk about some of the things that I used as reading. I'll be talking about that in a little bit. But, some books that I was reading, Purple Cow, The Untethered Soul. There's a lot of great ones that I was reading. And I also was able to obtain some certificates during this process. Last but not least, you must take a progress picture every single day. And I laugh about this right now because this is definitely the hardest one for myself. So I'm going to start off by talking about the beginning of my 75 Hard journey. Starting back in May, I had left to Arkansas for my brother's wedding. And during this time, I've been doing a lot of personal development beforehand. The past 6 to 7 months before that, I've been doing a lot of personal development. I've been working out. I've been finding a lot of value in the things that I was doing. And my brother had mentioned 75 Hard while I was out there. He starts explaining it, and I'm like, man, a gallon of water every day. I mean, I know I drink enough water, but to be, diligent enough to do a gallon of water every single day, it's like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I don't know if I can actually do that. 2 workouts every day, no rest days, that's a lot of stuff to do. And I was hesitant. I didn't really think that it was possible. He said that he completed it. And I'm like, that's crazy. To be frank, I said that's too much. You're crazy. That's not, I mean, I'm okay where I'm at. That's basically what I said. I'm okay with being lazy. I'm okay. I'm content with just doing the bare minimum that I'm expecting of myself. Basically, yeah, that was it. That was how that whole conversation went. And not too much longer after, that was the middle of May, and not too much longer after, I would say middle of June, I had already resurfaced this idea of 75 hard. I said, what the fuck am I doing? I'm doing all this stuff and I'm seeing results, but am I really like, is this really what I want to do? Is this something like I can do more? I know I can do more. And I started to want to push myself. So I called up my brother, or I texted him, one of the two, I don't remember. And I started talking about 75 hard. I'm like, hey, what is that? What was that thing called again? 90 days or, whatever. And he's like, yeah, 75 hard. Start off by listening to Andy Frisella. Start going to his website, figure out what these things are. And so I started to do that. I started to look into it. I was like, okay, what is this? Now, is it actually feasible? Is it something that I can do? And all of a sudden, my confidence started growing a little bit. Started to get a little bit more, I say arrogant or big-headed. I'm like, that's actually pretty doable. That's, you know what I mean? I know I can just crush that out. I think that I was under the impression that I wanted to make some content for YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I think that's a really good idea. I can knock this out. Let's get it done. I did create a YouTube video. I said, hey, my first initial day, this is 75 hard. This is me telling the world that I'm going to do 75 hard. And yeah, that was it. I started off on my journey. I said, okay, this is what we're doing. I downloaded the app. I didn't buy the book, but I'm looking actually at getting the book now because I'm interested in what he says. I listen to him almost every day on his podcast. And yeah, so that was what I did. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's start doing this. And during my first attempt, I say my first attempt because I did fail. I'm going to let you know right now, I failed. My first attempt actually lasted way longer than I would say. Well, I anticipated going through this very easy. I was thinking that I was going to jump through 75 hard in 75 days. And I remember talking to my peers about this. Like, hey, did anybody else want to do this? Even my brother was like, yo, I'm down to do it again. And then didn't jump on it with me. But I said, you know what? I made it a point that I was going to do it. So I'm going to do it. I already made the YouTube video. I have to do it. So my first attempt, I started by doing all the things. I counted my water bottles. I made sure that I was following my diet. My diet, by the way, was no sugars, no sweets, no desserts, no high fructose corn syrup. Basically, I was looking at anything that with included added sugars and saying no. So if it was like ketchup has a lot of included sugar. I did not eat any ketchup during my actual 75 hard attempt, my last attempt. I was very diligent in my last attempt. I made sure that I was like looking at nutrition labels and being very, very like consistent in what I thought and what I believed. And my first attempt, I remember I did have ketchup once, and I said, "Oh shit, that that has ketchup." So I probably failed more than what I think. You know what I mean? I kind of put it off in the back of my mind that I didn't fail, but I had ketchup, and I was like, you know what? Oh shit, I can't actually have ketchup. I'm going to count that as a day, but I won't have ketchup anymore. And I went on through my first attempt. I was doing yoga, trying to get to yoga and the gym, which I had already been doing for a while, yoga and the gym. That was pretty easy to me. I had talked about that, and that was the 2 workouts a day wasn't too bad. So I was doing yoga, the gym. If I didn't feel like going to yoga and I was doing legs or something like that, I would make sure that I would go on a run or a walk. And meanwhile, I started on July 5th. This is July 5th in Arizona. So we're talking 110 degrees outside. And I remember, going out middle of the day because I wasn't getting up that early yet. I was getting up at like, 8:30, 9 and trying to get to the gym and trying to do all my stuff, read and everything. I would be running outside or walking outside at like 1 p.m. and that was just such hell. Honestly, it was hell. but I wanted to complete 75 hard, so I kept doing it. And I was grinding for sure. I was reading a lot of books, Yoga and the Quest for the True Self. I said The Untethered Soul. What else? Living in the Now, The Power of Now, Living in the Present, or something like that. And on top of that, I'm also listening to audiobooks, like Deepak Chopra, Creating Affluence. I listen to David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. I listen to Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I've listened to a bunch of books as well, and I didn't count those as actual reading, but I did want to continue to have something in my ear while I was walking or while I was running or anything like that. So I was listening to a lot of audiobooks as well. And like I said, my first attempt was a lot of grind. I think that at the end of a couple of my work days, which I get off at like 10, 11 p.m., I would go to my backyard because I hadn't done a workout outside, and I would just do yoga outside, or I would go walk at 10 p.m., 10, 11 p.m. And I think that was dedication right there. I definitely wanted to get it done. But like I said, I did fail. I went 37 days straight. And I say that loosely because, like I said, the catch-up thing. And I also had taken a picture the day before at the gym, and then I forgot to put it in the app or something like that. And then like the next day, I forgot to take. I wanted to consistently take pictures in front of my mirror in my bathroom. And then when I took a picture at the gym and I forgot to take a picture in front of my bathroom, I'd be like, damn, like I'm going to put that picture in there. And this was very, very interesting because it was the start of my 75 hard, but it really, really wasn't. Like this was very, very basic stuff. I still was trying to change my attitude at this point, my perception of things. So I failed. There was one day, day 38, I woke up and I looked at my app and I was like, oh shit, it says I failed. I didn't take a picture, I guess. And I went and looked through my pictures, and all of a sudden my heart started to like kind of drop. And I said, oh shit, I really didn't take a picture. I was like, how did I not take a picture? I started to scramble through it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden I was like dealt a compromise. It said, hey, you failed. And I was like, well, I don't have to fail. I could just, take a picture right now. It's in the morning. I'm not going to look that much different, and I'll just put it in there. And I was like, that's reasonable, right? And I started to think like, that's not reasonable. Like my head was like, yo, like you're lying to yourself. Like this is what you're trying to get away from. You're trying to stop lying to yourself. And this is exactly the moment that you have to just fucking nut up or shut up, basically. You know what I mean? Do you want to do this the rest of your life where you lie to yourself? Because that's the only person that really knows. That's the only person that even cares the most. You know what I mean? My friends and my peers were literally like, oh, you're starting over because you didn't take a picture? Why didn't you just take a picture? And it's like, dude, that's the attitude that I'm trying to fucking get rid of. That's the type of shit that doesn't fucking count. And you know that in your head. You set out to do this task, these 75 days, and you're just trying to like bitch out right there. You know what I mean? And I was dealt that opportunity to start over. And I took the opportunity to start over on day 38. I didn't wait a day. I didn't wait 2 days. I didn't wait fucking a week. I was like, okay, I fucked up. I messed up, and I have to keep going. So what did I do? I went and started grinding again. I literally had just started going on my walk or like usual or whatever I had done at that day. I was like, you know what? I'm not giving up, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to act like it didn't, not like it didn't happen, but I'm going to continue to go. I've already done 38 days. Now it'll be 100 and some odd days when I'm done. 37 days will be 100 and fucking whatever. 112 days when I'm done. So I continue to go. I messed up. Attempt 2, I think I lasted 3 days. All of a sudden, I forgot to take a fucking picture again. I legit was like, no shot did I fucking forget to take a picture. I'm like, it's just a picture. How easy is it to just snap a picture in the mirror and be done? That's the easiest task in the world, and I'm failing at the easiest task in the world. I'm doing more than 45 minutes of workouts a day. I'm doing like hour walk and an hour in the gym, hour plus in the gym, and I can't take a picture. I was so mad. But I started over. Said, this isn't okay. This is not okay. And I go along. And I go 7 more days. And again, I fucking look at my app again, and I forgot to take a picture. I legit forgot to take another picture. It took me 3 times. And like I said, more than 3 times, to be honest, about me taking a picture. I in the first 38 days, in the first 38 days, I probably moved a picture. Like, I took a picture at the gym and I said, okay, that's good enough. You know what I mean? And it was good enough, but it wasn't actually consistent. And so I failed again after another 7 days. And my 4th attempt, I was so fed up with myself that I made it a point. I put tape on my floor in my bathroom, and it's still there actually. This is like a week after completing 75 hard, or 5 days, and it's still there. And I left it, I put it there, and it reminded me for a while that I needed to take a picture every day. Just tape on my bathroom floor, 2 X's to put my feet at, so that I was like, you got to take a picture. Look down, oh shit, I got to take a picture today. That's when it finally started to click in my head. My 4th attempt, I was ready to start making a routine, and that's when it literally started to click. I was doing things so sporadically and randomly in all these attempts and not following what I set out to do. I was doing all my tasks, but I didn't have a regimen about it. I would do a workout at night, and I would do, a workout here, and I would read at 10 pages at night if I, you know what I mean? And it just wasn't very consistent. And then it was finally clicking. My 4th attempt was my final attempt. I made it 75 days after starting on my 4th attempt. I started to take a picture every day after the gym. I made for sure, like I like the way I look after the gym with the pump, and I would go home and I would take a picture. That's when I wanted to take a picture. I took a picture every single time. I knew I had to take a picture then. I started to develop this routine. I started to wake up earlier. 6:30, 7 o'clock. Let's get outside and get my walk done. I started walking my dogs. I've hardly ever walked my dogs in my life. I took them to the park, and I would walk them occasionally. But I started to think, and this is one of my favorite realizations that I've had during this whole thing. I started to take these dogs on walks every day. Let's say 2-3 weeks, 21 days in a row, or 25 days. Let's make it an even number. A third of 75 hard. I'm completed by walking with my dogs. And every day I would wake up and I would be like, man, I don't really want to go on this walk. It's, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired and I want to go back to bed. And if I, go back to bed, then I'll just do it later. And I started to think, that's not fair to them. I've started to develop this routine for them, not only for myself, but for them. I've started to have them have a regiment, and they're relying on me. So now I owe it to them to walk them. You know what I mean? We're in this together now. They're dependent upon me for walking them. I need to go do my walk. And I started to have more gratitude, and it started to make me realize this is what business is about. You're no longer just doing stuff for yourself. You're doing it for other people. You're trying to you're trying to build your business up so that you can create opportunities for other people. Now you have 5 people that are getting paid by you that are, relying on your money to support themselves. Just as much as the business is, supporting you, you are now able to support more people. I am now supporting my dog's health by walking them every single day. And that was one of the coolest realizations that I had. So every day, my morning walk became a super routine. Get up. I had incorporated stretching and meditating, and those didn't really stick. I had a lot, I I'm saying I'm making excuses right now because I am, but I had a lot going on as far as 75 hard and trying to do all these other things. So some of these things that I tried to incorporate did not stick, like meditating 10 minutes a day before my walks. I did do it, a solid maybe 15 days or something like that, but it didn't stick. But my walks, I started was like, hey, this is my first workout. And one of the cool things that I did do during 75 hard, I took about 40 days, I would say, 45 days of 75 hard, and I completed my certified personal training and my certified nutrition coach certificates. Those, I read so much information in those 45 days. Like, I just condensed all this material, like fucking 50 chapters of material. I would sit in front of my computer and just read and read and read and read. And just like 3 hours a day, we would just read all this information and just write it all. Like, for those of you on YouTube, you can see right here, all these notes, just notes and notes and notes and notes. All of this, like, easily, how many pages is this? 200? Easily over 100 pages of written notes on just nutrition and personal training. And I would just take all this information in. 45 days, 2 certificates. Probably read about 10 to 12 other books. No, maybe like 8 to 10 other books. One of the other things I started to develop in 75 hard was running. So not only am I doing my walks, I, wanted to run. I wanted to build my cardio up. And so I was running 5Ks. I really wanted to, I had a goal to run 2 miles in under 20 minutes. And then it was 18 minutes. And then it was a 5K under 30 minutes. And then I had never, ever run a 10K before. That seemed like almost impossible to me. That says 6 miles. All of a sudden, I was like, all right, well, what if I just walk a 10K? If I walk it, I've completed it. And I don't even think I walked it. I think my first 10K, I did it in like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. And that wasn't even like, I ran a good portion of it. I didn't want to like leave anything like unsaid or undone at that point. I was like, yo, let's get as much done as I possibly can. And by the end of 75 hard, on my literal last running day, I started to develop a weekly routine of how I'd run. HIIT training on Tuesdays, endurance training on Thursdays, and then my one mile sprint test. They say sprint test or like speed test. HIIT was 20 minutes. My endurance was my 10K. And then on Saturdays, my mile test. So Thursdays, my last Thursday was 2 days before, it was like day 73. I ran my 10K in 56 minutes and 24 seconds. 56 minutes and 24 seconds. Now, my last day, my day 75, my mile time was 7 minutes and 17 seconds. Unbelievable. From where I was at the beginning, wanting to run 2 miles in under 20 minutes, 10-minute miles. And I brought it down to 3 minutes. I brought it down 3 minutes, down to almost, 7 minutes, basically. Unbelievable. And I just started to learn that I was capable of way more than I had ever said to myself and ever said to anybody else. I would say that I could do things to people, but in my head, I said, wow, I'm not able to do a 10K. And all of a sudden I did. And then all of a sudden my 10K was under an hour. And I said, okay, what's next? How do I make this better? Start running more. Then I'm doing 59 minutes. And then I did 56 minutes. And now I look at it and I say, what's my next time? 50 minutes? 50-minute 10Ks? That's under 9-minute miles. And I know I can do it. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be in a week. But I am grinding. You know what I mean? 50-minute 10K? That's not impossible. People do that all the time. And I see all this other, content that shows me that it's possible, because anything is possible when you put your mind to it. 75 hard seemed impossible in May, and now it's November, and I fucking crushed it. Like, absolutely crushed my last attempt. I made sure I started reading nutrition labels. I started, building my macros. My diet was only to not eat these sugars, sweets, desserts, and all this shitty food that I had for myself. I already had like a decent diet, like not a terrible diet, but then I started to develop in 75 hard even a better diet, a more routine diet, eating Greek yogurt in the morning and chicken and rice and all this stuff. And all of a sudden I'm losing weight and just putting on way more muscle. And it is attributed to not eating sugars and sweets and shit. But then it's like I started to develop more and more just awareness of what I was actually doing. It's honestly amazing. This program has taught me just way more than I ever hoped to accomplish. It was a blessing. It was a blessing. And I know it's not 100% thanks to Andy. A lot of the thanks goes to myself for just putting in the effort. But the program is definitely developed by him, and I do thank him for that. So, 75 hard. It's not for everybody. It is a challenge. It was not easy, especially in the beginning days. Especially when you fail and think that, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. Who gives a fuck whether you're doing it or not? Nobody cares. Maybe you don't even care. Maybe you're just doing it just because. But the amount of effort or the amount of gratitude that comes from finishing things, from completing, simple tasks like running a 10K, and then knowing that you can be better and you're winning every single day. I think that everybody, I know for a fact everybody can do it. And I wish that everybody would. I wish that everybody would take the time to learn self-discipline, to learn to be diligent. And no, I didn't have motivation to do everything every day. I just did it because that was what I was doing. And even to this day, so day 76, I go out and I'm not celebrating per se, but I'm watching the Rams game. Go Rams, by the way. You sucked on Sunday. I'm just going to say it. So I'm watching the Rams game. They suck. And I go to Sprouts to get kombucha and I see macaroons. I said, fuck in A. Let's go. I'm going to eat this whole box of macaroons. And I bought the macaroons. And on my way home, I'm just munching. I probably had like 10 macaroons. I said, fuck it. And I knew after eating like 10, 12, whatever it was, macaroons, that I just had to throw them away because I would eat them all. And that was just way too much. I knew that was a line that I did have to draw. And I threw the macaroons away. Like, I dumped them into my green trash can. Like, didn't even like leave the box open. Not like I'd go trash digging. Maybe. But I dumped them in there and then, went to bed, did my thing. And literally the next day I felt so sluggish. I didn't get up. I didn't do my walk. And I just was like, wow, it really does make a difference what you're doing. I didn't start phase 1, so I didn't fail it, but I know that was like the reason why I just had quote unquote given up, or I just been done with I wanted the break. And I'm still not starting phase 1 until Thursday. I have, family coming in tomorrow for Thanksgiving and early Thanksgiving. And I really want to eat pie and stuff. And I know that that's not going to be my diet plan, or I'm not sure yet. And so I might not start on Thursday, but I'm starting very, very soon. And I'm going to complete the whole Live Hard program. That is my goal now. I know that I can complete it because I completed 75 hard, and I know it's just a matter of determination and discipline. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm very, very, very happy, very content with all my decisions. And I just wish that everybody could see how, well, I know everybody could see how I did it. And I wish that everybody could see that they can do it too. So it's been a a wild ride, a wild journey. I absolutely loved 75 hard towards the end, and I'm loving it now. I'm just continuously putting my foot forward and grinding out whatever I need to get done. I started my power lists. I started journaling. There's so much stuff that it's taught me, and yeah, I'm going to say thank you to you, Ryan, for doing it, for putting your foot forward. I'm going to say thank you to my supporters, anybody that told me not to give up, anybody that had my back the whole time. Fuck you to anybody that doubted me. Actually, not even fuck you. Thank you too, because those people, that's a whole different support that you have. It's a support for, or not support, but it's you build the rage, you build the I'm going to do it to show you that I can do it. People thought that I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I know for a fact that people did. So I did it. I'm here now, and I get to show it off. A lot of gratitude. That's the one thing that I would say that I learned. So much gratitude. So again, thank you to everyone. Thanks for listening to 75 Hard. If you have any questions about 75 Hard, you can reach me on Instagram, DM me, ask me any questions that you have, leave a comment on the YouTube, and I'm here for support. I'm ready. I will help you through all of 75 Hard if you need help. But I know you can do it too. And I wish you the best of luck when you do it. So, thank you again. Don't forget to share the show. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.